Amid a summer of change for professional rugby among the Celtic nations, there has been plenty of comings and goings. Players have been moving around the new Guinness pro14, they've been leaving and they've been joining in a fairly hectic few months for many. Some key players have headed through exit doors and some big-name international stars have strolled into the league. Some players have returned to where it all began and others are flying the nest for the very first time. A summer of change indeed. Here's all the transfer news. Former Highlanders back Marty Banks goes down as the Italians' marquee signing this summer. The 27-year-old, who can play fly-half or full-back, kicked a vital penalty that saw the Highlanders beat the Lions during the 2017 tour of New Zealand. Banks is joined by fellow Kiwi and abrasive former Edinburgh back rower Nasi Manu, who will provide a bit of bite in the pack, and Fatu Douglas, who signs from the Crusaders, completes the New Zealand trio. Italy international Luke McLean and Filo Paulo are two notable departures as both join London Irish in the Aviva Premiership. Ins Marty Banks, Juan Ignacio Brex, Andrea Bronzini, Fatu Douglas, Irene Herbst, Angel Michelara, Nasi Manu, Sebastian Negri, Marco Riccioni, Federico Ruzza. Outs Filippo Gerosa, David Giazons, Luke McLean, Jean-Francois Montoriol, David Odiete, Filo Paulo, Alberto Rolando Poroli, Andrea Pratichetti, Roberto Santamaria, Guglielmo Zanini. The Highlanders' Marty Banks kicks for goal against the British Irish Lions. Getty Images. Is this the fastest try ever scored in Welsh amateur rugby? Cardiff Blues. A relatively quiet summer at the Cardiff-based region has seen only a handful of players come in and not many more leaving. Jack Roberts' signing from Leicester Tigers is their standout bit of business, with the 25-year-old Welsh centre really beginning to come to prominence in the Aviva Premiership last season. They've added some much-needed reinforcement to their second-row division with the signings of Damien Welch and Franco van der Merwe. Though the latter was set to be released without even playing a game amid financial cutbacks and what the region described as a change of strategy. His future remains up in the air. Sion Bennett has been handed a full contract after coming in as injury cover midway through last season. Corey Allen, who came through the academy system at the Blues, has left to seek a fresh start at the Ospreys. Ins Sion Bennett, Franco van der Merwe, Jack Roberts, Damien Welch. Outs Corey Allen, Liam Belcher, Pele Cowley, Cam Dolan, Jared Hoeata, Mark Thomas. Jack Roberts making his Cardiff Blues debut. Hugh Evans picture agency. Connacht. After a difficult season for Connacht, that saw them relinquish the PRO12 title without much of a fight, it's been quite a bust summer. More players have left than have arrived, but Aussie duo Jared Butler and Andrew Deegan have joined from the Brumbies and the Waratahs respectively. Former Edinburgh speedster and Irishman Rory Scholes bolsters the wing division, with 3 academy players being handed senior contracts not included below. Fly-half Marnitz Boshoff was released on compassionate grounds as he returned to South Africa, and 5 players were released following the conclusion of last season. Ins Jared Butler, Andrew Deegan, Peter McCabe, James Mitchell, Rory Scholes, Gavin Thornbury. Outs Marnitz Boshoff, John Cooney, Nepia Fox Martimua, Ronan Lockney, Ben Marshall, Rory Maloney, Zane O'Leary, Rory Parata, Danny Poolman, Danny Qualter, Josh Rowland, Ivan Soroka, Lewis Stevenson. Dragons. The arrival of former Wales star Gavin Henson has clearly been the big news at Rodney Parade amid a summer of change at the region. Henson is likely to play a key role in the Dragons season, and will be tasked with bringing along the younger talent at the region, covering fly-half and centre. Springbok Zane Kirchner has also arrived in South Wales and will provide plenty of experience at fullback. Tom Priddy and Geraint Rhys-Jones have joined the Scarlets, while industrious Kiwi Nick Crosswell has returned to his homeland. Ins Liam Belcher, Gerard Ellis, Gavin Henson, Zane Kirchner, Dan Suter. Outs Nick Crosswell, Darren Harris, Geraint Rhys-Jones, Sean Knight, Craig Mitchell, Tom Priddy, T. Rhys Thomas. Gavin Henson. During a Dragons training session, forgotten man Rhys Priestland hasn't given up on Wales' ambitions. Edinburgh Scotland international and Olympic silver medalist Mark Bennett is quite a coup as he joins from Scottish rivals Glasgow. The elusive runner may be asked to provide the subtlety in midfield, with juggernaut centre Robbie Fruin also signing from Bath this summer. Welshman and former Sevens star Jason Harries has also signed for the club as Richard Cockrell looks ahead to his first season in charge. 6 players have been promoted from the academy not included below, and 4 have been released. Ins Mark Bennett, Robbie Fruin, Jason Harries, Daryl Marfo, Duhan van der Merwe. Outs Michael Allen, Nick Bevan, Jack Cosgrove, William Ifihuki, Will Hellu, Nasi Manu, Alex Northam, Rory Scholes, Sasato Filau, George Turner Lone, Kyle White, Mark Bennett, hands-off Angus O'Brien, Image Hugh Evans. Agency Glasgow Warriors. A pretty busy summer at Scottstown has seen some big players leave but some big names arrive. Scotland internationals Hugh Jones and Rory Jackson return to their homeland from the Stormers and Harlequins respectively. One-time Super Rugby star Lelia Masaga is joined by fellow Kiwi Callum Gibbons at Glasgow as the Scots mini-raid of the Stormers is completed by the signings of prop Holly Kebble and fly half Brandon Thomas. Talisman Josh Strauss has joined Sale Sharks and Scotland prop Gordon Reid has left for newly promoted London Irish. Sean Lamont has retired. They've also promoted a fistful of players for their academy. Ins Callum Gibbons, Siosiu Helena Konuka, Adam Hastings, Rory Jackson, Hugh Jones, Ollie Kebble, Lelia Masaga, Kieran MacDonald, Brandon Thomas, George Turner Lone, Simwela Vunisa. Outs Mark Bennett, Junior Bulu Macau, Rory Clegg, Grayson Hart, Nemia Kenatale, Sean Lamont, Fraser Lyle, Peter Murky, Sila Puafisi, Gordon Reid, Hagen Schulte, Josh Strauss, Tiawi Uanivi. Scotland centre Hugh Jones. Leinster. The Irish big hitters have promoted heavily from their academy this summer, whilst making two big signings. Kiwi flyer James Lowe has signed for the province from the Chiefs after featuring for the New Zealand Maori against the Lions earlier this summer. Wideman Lowe brings with him a Super Rugby strike rate of 14 tries in 37 matches. Australian rugby star Scott Fardy will bring bags of experience to the RDs as well as 39 caps for his country. Fardy was the unsung hero of the Wallaby back row at the 2015 Rugby World Cup, seen as the man doing the bulk of the donkey work, allowing Michael Hooper and David Pocock to create chaos at the breakdown. In Scott Fardy, James Lowe. Outs Zane Kirchner, Mike McCarthy, Mike Ross, Dominic Ryan, Hayden Triggs. The Chiefs' James Lowe in action against the Sunwolves. Image Getty Images. Munster. JJ Hanrahan's return to the province after spending 2 years with Northampton Saints is the notable signing of the summer. However, arguably, Munster's best business was extending the contracts of a number of key players that helped them reach the PRO12 final last term. There are, however, some key losses. As international locked-on Achar Ryan has turned his back on Irish rugby to join French big spenders Racing 92. Tricky centre Francis Sailly has also flown the nest, with the former All Black joining Harlequins in the Aviva Premiership. Munster are another team to have promoted a chunk of their academy. Ins Chris Cleat, Chris Farrell, Gerbrant Grobler, JJ Hanrahan, James Hart, Kieran Parker. Outs Cian Bohan, Rory Burke, Mark Chisholm, Dave Foley, John Madigan, Peter McCabe, Donachar Ryan, Francis Sailly. JJ Hanrahan in action for Northampton. Image Getty Images. Ospreys former Wales back James Hook has returned to the region after spending 6 years in exile at Pepinian and Gloucester. The versatile playmaker should prove invaluable when, inevitably, Sam Davies and Dan Biggar both receive their call-ups during the international windows. Current Wales international Corey Allen, who is on the fringes of Warren Gatland's squad when they are operating at full strength, has been brought in to fill the void left by Josh Matavzi. The Fijian has left for Newcastle Falcons, with highly impressive youngster Sam Underhill joining Bath to enhance his England prospects. Brian Mujati has been handed a full contract after providing injury cover last season. Ins Corey Allen, James Hook, Brian Mujati. Outs Tyler Ardron, Joe Bierman, Tom Grabham, Josh Matavzi, Tom O'Flaherty, Jonathan Spratt, Dan Suter, Sam Underhill. James Hook looks to offload against Bath Scarlets. The signing of Wales and Lions star Lee Halfpenny is the big news at the defending champions this season. The long-running Halfpenny saga was finally ended after the Lions tour when the region announced that the 28-year-old had signed on a national dual contract. Former Australia Sevens star Paul Asquith has also arrived in West Wales and has looked impressive during pre-season, while other signings may prove useful. Losing Liam Williams to Saracens was a huge blow for the region, which has been softened somewhat by the arrival of Halfpenny, as he has been pivotal to the rise of the region in recent times. Poacher DTH Van der Merwe has gone too, with Gareth Owen and Alec Thomas, who were both handy during international breaks, have joined Leicester and retired respectively. Ins Paul Asquith, Tom Grabham, Lee Halfpenny, Geraint Rhys-Jones, Tom Priddy, Morgan Williams. Outs Morgan Allen, Rainier Bernardo, Peter Edwards, DTH Van der Merwe, Gareth Owen, Matthew Owen, Richard Smith, Aled Thomas, Liam Williams, Lee Halfpenny. Image Hugh Evans. Picture agency Ulster. Australian playmaker Christian Leali'ifano has recently signed for the region on a 5-month deal that will take him up to the start of next year's Super Rugby season. Last August, the 19-cap Wallaby was diagnosed with leukemia and underwent bone marrow surgery in November before making a remarkable comeback for the Brumbies 7 months later. He will rejoin the Australian Super Rugby franchise when his time at Ulster is up. Ruan Pienaar has been forced to leave Ulster this summer after becoming a fan favourite in his 7 years at the province. He had hoped to sign a new deal at the start of last season, but the IRFU refused amid concerns over a lack of Irish scrum halves coming through. 6 academy players have been promoted. Ins John Cooney, Jean Daisel, Christian Leali'ifano, Schalk van der Merwe. Outs Mark Best, John Donnan, Lorcan Dow, Connor Joyce, Ricky Lutton, Stephen Mulholland, Johnny Murphy, Ruan Pienaar, Roger Wilson. Christian Leali'ifano in action for the Brumbies. Image Getty Images. Zebra. The Italians have raided Calvisano for 5 players this summer as they try to shake the take of perennial whipping boys. Another handful of players come from Fiamoro and Viadana, whilst former Bath flanker Dave Ceci joins and Kieran Gaffney arrives from Connacht. A number of key players have headed through the exit door, with wideman Eduardo Padovani joining Toulon, Josh Furneaux heading to Otago and Quinton Geldon-Huies retiring. 4 players have also been released during a turbulent summer at the club that saw the Fur takeover. Ins Michael Azzolini, Kieran Gaffney, Renato Giamarioli, Leonard Krumoff, Luhanda Lewis, Matteo Minozzi, Sammy Panico, Riccardo Raffaelli, Dave Ceci, Roberto Tenga. Outs Dion Berryman, Pietro Ceccarelli, Carlo Engelbrecht, Joshua Furneaux, Quinton Geldon-Huies, Lloyd Grief, Eduardo Padovani, Bruno Postiglioni, Guillermo Rohn, Federico Ruzza, Sidney Tobias, Dries van Schalkwyk, Kale van Zyl. Lewis Evans of Newport Gwent Dragons is tackled by Quinton Geldon-Huies. Image Hugh Evans. Picture agency Cheetahs and Southern Kings. It's a hugely complex situation with the South African teams at the moment, with the end of the Currie Cup and beginning of the pro14 seasons overlapping. The Cheetahs have had to increase their squad to 55 players in order to deal with the strain of competing on 2 fronts, and their coaching staff will even be stretched when they face the Western Province in Cape Town and Munster in Limerick on the same day. The Southern Kings have lost a core group of players amid all the uncertainty that surrounded their future at one stage. They've managed to recruit heavily and boost their player pool to 40 by signing a host of out-of-contract players and loanees.